People are still locked in the 90s.
Right.
And
We're not legal aid. We're
No.
not legal aid people.
So-
We aren't.
Let's talk about fees, right? Like, and obviously we're talking Chapter 7s because 13s are locked in. So what would you, in your mind, consider low, medium, high?
For my practice, my minimum is $2,500. I also have the luxury of charging less for somebody that I feel really needs it. That's
Mhm.
fine. We still can do those good deeds out there, but our whole firm doesn't need to be a good deed. So $2,500 is my minimum. I go to, $3,000, $3,500, up to, $15,000, depending on what the circumstances are. Do not be afraid to charge your worth. And the market's going to tell you if it can bear your fees or not. Not everybody is going to be able to afford you. There's other people that can take the low, dollar cases. You don't always have to take them. Also, don't leave money on the table. I think one of my things, I have my purple sheet that I do for every, in every single case when I'm doing their consultation. And this reminds me, I've got a little spot on here that says what my minimum is. So it's staring me in the face every day. Do I really want to drop below that? I don't leave money on the table either. I have a United card for United Airlines. That's how I get my free flights to my conferences. Every single expense in my law firm is run through on my United card. That includes the client's credit counseling. That includes their credit reports. It includes me pulling 10 years of tax transcripts. I charge $250 for that. If I have to look at them and pull them, that's taking time. That means I'm giving value for that. They need to be paying for it, and they do.
When you say
when I-
$250
Yep,
for you to pull the
250.
transcript,
Yep.
what does that cost you to pull the transcript?
I'm a Pitbull user, so it really is just my Pitbull annual fee.
Oh, that's great.
And
That's great.
so it's minimal. But I'm
That's
also looking at them, and it takes my clients time. It's something that all of us should have in the files. How do you give them advice if you have not done the due diligence
Mhm.
to look at what's going on there with those tax transcripts? That doesn't mean give a full tax analysis on dischargeability. You should be charging separately for that as well. You're on the line. That's a huge malpractice case if you get one thing wrong, if you miss a tolling event or something. So be charging for your tax analysis as well. And they know when they have a tax problem, it's going to be expensive. So, get your fees for that. I charge for deeds and comps. I want to know who's on title. I want to know who was on title. I want to know if my client ever transferred off of title. So we charge $200 to get their, deeds and comps.
Is that per deed? So if they have a rental property, or is that 200
per.
flat?
Nope, that's per.
So it's 200. So when you say $2,500, that's your base fee.
Yeah, that's
Does
my
that
base
include
fee.
filing fee?
No, this is
No.
all this stuff I'm talking about is on top of that $2,500.
So you're at $2,500 plus deeds of comps of $200 for pulling tax returns. It's $250.
Yep, a homestead declaration, because the Ninth Circuit made a little comment in one of its recent, not so recent, but 23 opinion, where they said, we're not sure if the homeowner is entitled to the new higher homestead exemption if they had not recorded a homestead declaration. But we're not deciding that today. That's not before us. So we brought back, do the homestead declarations. We charge $250, which includes the recording fee.
Mhm.
I do recording directly from my office. Recording is with Simplifile. You can set up an account. You can record your, orders on your motions to avoid liens, things like
Mhm.
that, and charge your clients for those. And it's not also, I don't want to give the impression that we're nickel and diming either. We're not. These are things that they need. These are things that you need to do a good job for your client.
Well, and a lot of people think, a lot of debt attorneys, they believe that like they have to come up with a flat fee, which is not the case.
Yeah,
right?
it's not. And not
and
all
it's-
cases are flat fees. Some
Yeah.
cases need to be hourly.
And then it's shocking that some people include it all for $1,500.
Yeah, that's unreal.
Like you just can't make money that
No,
way.
you can't.
Yeah.
And then I charge the 341 hearing, I charge $150 for that. I want them to know in their mind if they miss it or if there's a continued one, they already know what that fee is. So that is built into there. And then I do the filing fee. That's my typical on a Chapter 7. There's obviously add-ons. If they have a SLAP, the student loan adversary proceeding, I'm charging on those.
What are you charging for your slaps?
It's $5,000 if you owe under $100,000. Between $100,000 and $200,000, it's $7,500. If you owe more than 200,000, we're in the range of 10 grand, and they'll come up with the money. That's not your problem. That is there is a tremendous amount of value there if they've got $300,000 in loans that they can get rid of for 10. Grandma and mom and dad and everybody will start throwing money at it. Let them figure it out. And again, if it's somebody that has no resources and you want to do it for cheaper, you have that ability.
Right.
You can make that decision. Motions to continue stay, next friend motions are extra. 722 redemption motions are extra. 522Fs are extra. Tax analysis, that's extra. Those are extra things. Exemption planning, my minimum on exemption planning is $3,500.
hmm
So, and don't think that you can't do exemption planning. The Supreme Court said you can. You know,
So,
don't
Jenny,
be crazy.
share about what you heard. You've spoken about this at NAC, but you spoke about this amongst your webinars, and tell about the feedback. The guy that raised their fees
Yeah.
$2, right? Share the feedback because people we need to there's
Yeah.
still this commentary in people's minds that debtors don't have money, and I
Right.
need to charge $1,500 because the guy on the billboard says they can do it for $995 or whatever.
Yeah.
Share with what's happening in real time.
So I love feedback. When anyone wants to borrow a form from me or whatever, I always say the only thing I ask is give me feedback because I never feel like it's a finished document. I always feel that there's room for improvement. I want the same thing when I'm speaking on a session or a webinar or, something like this. Give me feedback. What did you find helpful? What didn't work for you? Did you have questions about how I implemented something? Reach out. So in our Dallas workshop, one of our colleagues came up to me and said, I'm nervous, but I'm going to take your advice and I'm going to go back to the office and I'm going to raise my fees. I'm going to at least do $500 on all my cases. I'm like, great, let me know what happens. In Boston, he comes up and he said, Jenny, I didn't do 500, I did 700. And he said, and my revenue has absolutely increased. I am much happier. And he said, and I'm not taking the smaller cases. Maybe they went somewhere else, but all the ones that I quoted at the 700, he said about 82% of them hired me.
Mm.
And they didn't give me any flack about it. So I just added 700 to my revenue. And he said, and I'm averaging about 10 of those a month. So that's an extra $7,000 a month in his budget by just quoting a little bit more. And I
Yeah.
think that's really important.
You
And
don't know what his number was before or after, right? He didn't check.
No, he didn't tell me before what the number was, but
And
I do remember him saying something about in his area they were about 1,700. I don't know if that's what he was charging, but if you're up $700 from 1,700, that's great.
Fantastic.
I
mean, and the thing is just I want to reiterate what you just shared earlier. It doesn't mean your base fee has to go up 700, right? I mean, at the very minimum, very minimum, take your base fee up to 2,000
Mhm.
and then add certain things to
Right,
it, right?
right.
Because I mean, I just this week I talked to a NACBA member, $1,500. I mean, and I was like, you have to move that forward because
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is things have gotten more expensive.
Right.
Everything's more expensive. Fill up your
Everything we're
gas tank.
touching is
Yeah.
more expensive.
I know. Yeah. It's expensive. Yeah.
Minimum wage goes up every year. I mean that you've got to have something built into your system so that you're reevaluating. I mean, we all see. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in Southern California, and I file throughout California, and I am watching the fee increases in January by the tall building lawyers. They have to file their hey, our fee went up in this case, and they're $895, $950 an hour. And we're supposed to be down around 350, 400. Absolutely not. I'm a certified bankruptcy specialist. I went back and got my LLM in taxation. You think you're going to get that for 350, 400? No.
Yeah.
I'm 26 years of practice, over 7,500 cases filed. We're at 600 an hour. So we have to set the bar. And if we're not all moving that bar forward, then the courts aren't looking at us at a whole as being at that higher hourly rate. We're doing that to ourselves and we're doing it to each other. And that's a huge disservice.